Welcome to my channel, The Human Frontier. They lined them up like cargo. That was the first thing that made me uncomfortable. Rows of alien women stood silently on the polished platform, each wearing simple identification bands around their wrists. Above them, holographic displays projected their names, species, genetic profiles, and something that felt disturbingly wrong. Compatibility rating. I shifted uneasily where I stood. "This is normal?" I asked. The broker beside me didn't even look up from his datapad. "Perfectly normal," he said. "Interstellar pairing programs have existed for centuries. It ensures optimal matches between species. Looks more like an auction." He smiled slightly. "Only to those who don't understand the system." Yeah. I didn't understand it. And I didn't like it. The market no one talks about. "My name is Aaron Hale. Former Earth citizen. Current contract worker on Station Virex 9. I had taken the job for one reason: money. Good money. Enough to send back home. Enough to start over someday. But jobs like this come with strange experiences. Like being invited to something called a selection event. At first, I thought it was a cultural exchange program. Turns out, it was something else entirely. Across the hall, wealthy clients, aliens from dozens of species, walked slowly past the platform, examining the women like products. Some stopped. Some asked questions. Some made selections. And when they did, the chosen woman was quietly escorted away. No celebration. No joy. Just silence. I clenched my fists. This is messed up. The broker sighed. "If you are uncomfortable, you are free to leave." I almost did. I should have. But then, I saw her. The one no one chose. She stood at the far end of the platform, separated from the others. Not by distance, but by something else. Neglect. Her identification display flickered weakly. Her rating was low. Very low. I frowned. "Why is she over there?" The broker followed my gaze. "Oh, that one. That one. She is undesirable." I looked at her again. She didn't look undesirable. She looked different. Her hair was pale silver, but not the radiant kind I'd seen in other species. It was dull, almost faded. Her skin carried faint glowing patterns, but they flickered unevenly, like something was wrong. And her eyes. They weren't confident like the others. They were tired. "You mean no one wants her?" I asked. "Correct." "Why?" "Genetic instability. Low compatibility. Weak energy signature. She is considered a poor match." I stared at him. "You're judging her entire worth on a scan? That is how the system works." I looked back at her. She wasn't even trying to be chosen. She just stood there quietly, waiting. Or maybe accepting. That's when something in my chest tightened. The decision that made no sense. "Can I talk to her?" I asked. The broker blinked. "You wish to interact with that one?" "Yeah." He hesitated, then shrugged. "As you wish." I walked toward her, step by step, past the others, past the buyers, until I stood in front of the one no one wanted. She didn't look up at first. Like she expected me to walk past. Like everyone else. "Hey," I said softly. Her head lifted slightly. Her eyes met mine. And for a moment, I forgot what I was going to say. There was something there. Something quiet. Something broken. But still alive. "You don't have to pretend," she said quietly. Her voice was soft. Almost fragile. "I know you are not here for me." I frowned. "What if I am?" She blinked. Confused. "No one is." "Well, I'm someone. For the first time, she looked at me properly. You are human. Yeah. You should not choose me. Why not? She hesitated. Because I am not valuable. That word hit harder than I expected. Who told you that? The system. I shook my head. Yeah, well, the system seems pretty terrible. She stared at me. Like she didn't understand what I meant. The choice that changed everything. I turned back toward the broker. I'll take her. The room went quiet. The broker froze. I'm sorry, what? I choose her. He walked closer, lowering his voice. Perhaps you misunderstood. You are free to select from the available candidates. I did. I pointed at her. That's my choice. The broker looked genuinely confused. She has the lowest compatibility rating in the entire program. Okay. She may not survive long-term pairing. Okay. She has no political or genetic value. Okay. He stared at me. Why? I looked back at her. She was still standing there. Frozen. Like she couldn't believe what was happening. Because no one else did. A new beginning. The process was quick after that. Too quick. Papers signed. Authorization granted. And just like that, she was no longer part of the system. She walked beside me as we left the hall. Silent. Still unsure. What's your name? I asked. Lyra. I'm Aaron. She nodded slightly. Why did you choose me? She asked. I shrugged. Because you looked like you needed someone to. She stopped walking. That is not a logical reason. Yeah, I'm not very logical. She studied me carefully. Then said something I didn't expect. Thank you. Learning each other. Life didn't magically become easy after that. My quarters were small. My job was demanding. And Lyra. She wasn't like anyone I had ever met. At first, she barely spoke. She moved carefully. Like she was afraid of doing something wrong. You don't have to be perfect, I told her one day. I am not perfect, she replied. I know. That's kind of the point. She didn't understand that. Not yet. But slowly. Things changed. She started asking questions. About Earth. About humans. About why we did things the way we did. She laughed for the first time when I burned dinner. She smiled when I showed her music. And day by day, the quiet, broken girl I had met started to come back to life. The truth about Lyra. It wasn't until weeks later that I discovered the truth. Her condition. The reason no one wanted her wasn't a flaw. It was something else. Her energy signature, the thing the system measured, was unstable. Not weak. Unstable. Meaning unpredictable. Meaning dangerous. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. She looked down. Because then you would not have chosen me. I sighed. Lyra. I already did. But now you know. Yeah. Silence. Are you going to leave? She asked quietly. I shook my head. No. Her eyes widened slightly. Why? Because I don't care what the system says. But I could hurt you. Then we'll figure it out. She stared at me. Like no one had ever said that before. When everything fell apart. The incident happened 3 days later. We were in the station corridor when her energy spiked. Suddenly. Violently. The lights flickered. Systems malfunctioned. People stepped back in fear. Lyra dropped to her knees. I cannot control it. Her body glowed brighter. Unstable. Dangerous. Security alarms blared. And then they arrived. Station guards. Weapons raised. Step away from her. I didn't move. She's not a threat. Her energy levels are spiking beyond safe limit. She just needs help. Move aside. I looked at Lyra. She was shaking. Terrified. Not dangerous. Just afraid. So I made a choice. Again. I stepped in front of her. The moment that changed everything. If you want to shoot her, I said, you'll have to go through me. The guards hesitated. You do not understand the risk. I do. Then why protect her? I didn't hesitate. Because no one else will. Silence. Then something unexpected happened. Lyra's energy changed. It stabilized. The chaotic glow softened. The violent spikes faded. Her breathing slowed. And slowly, she stood. The guards lowered their weapons. No one spoke. No one understood. Except me. What made her different? Later, back in my quarters, she looked at me with wide eyes. I have never stabilized like that before. What do you mean? It always grows worse. But not this time. No. I leaned back. Thinking. What changed? She looked at me. You stayed. I frowned. That's it. Yes. I laughed slightly. That's not how science works. She shook her head. For my kind, connection matters. I blinked. Wait, you're saying your instability isn't a weakness? No. It's tied to emotion? Yes. I stared at her. That means. I am not broken, she said softly. I smiled. I knew it. The ending that was really a beginning. Word spread. About what happened. About Lyra. About me. The system didn't understand it. The station didn't understand it. But something had changed. People started looking at her differently. Not as unwanted. Not as broken. But as something new. Something unique. And as for me, I didn't care about any of that. Because every time she smiled, I knew I had made the right choice. Because sometimes, the person no one wants is the one who changes everything. And sometimes, all it takes is one human, willing to see what everyone else missed. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more cinematic science fiction stories.